I call Ruth Maguire to be followed by John Finney. Ms Maguire, please.
Presiding Officer, I congratulate my colleague Sandra White in securing this debate and thank her for her long-standing and unwavering commitment in highlighting the injustices suffered by the Palestinian people at the hands of Israel. We're here this evening marking the 70th anniversary of the Nakba, but the Nakba, or the catastrophe, didn't really start or end in 1948. The mass eviction of over 750,000 men, women and children from historic Palestinian land. The destruction of over 500 towns and villages. The Palestinian people were being forcibly removed from their land before the 15th of May, and still today, 70 years later, generations know the pain of displacement, the pain of protracted conflict, and the pain of a prolonged, vicious Israeli occupation punctuated by frequent incidents of calculated, cowardly violence. Incidents which we all bore witness to again yesterday. This is state-sponsored violence carried out against children as well as adults. And shame on those who describe it as clashes, Presiding Officer. None of us, not a single one of us, are fooled by that term clashes when describing what's been happening over the last few days. Quite simply, this is a massacre. There is no justification for. And I fear that the actions of the so-called superpowers and the UK's impotent response simply mean that we've never been further from justice, that we've never been further from peace. I can't have been the only one sickened by the grotesque pictures of US dignitaries' decadent backslapping celebration of their embassy opening in Jerusalem as snipers fired at unarmed civilians, maiming and killing. It was a massacre. Medical Aid for Palestine state that Palestinians living under occupation or blockade in the occupied Palestinian territories or as refugees in Lebanon are subject to intolerable stress in every aspect of their daily lives. Lack of access to health services, settler violence, threat of home demolition, unemployment and trauma caused by conflict and displacement are all facts of daily life. Over 4 million displaced people were registered by the UN as refugees and unable to return home. A constituent of mine has Palestinian family in Jordan. He tells me that the children have asked their grandpa there many times why he didn't stay. And he tells them that they were so worried. They knew what was being done and they fled in all directions. The mass eviction of over 750,000 men, women and children, the destruction of over 500 towns and villages. He believed it was only temporary and that they would be home soon. 4 generations have passed and they're still exiled. Still there is no justice and still we are far from peace. Presiding Officer, I almost can't bring myself to imagine how despairing the seeming absence of any prospect of peace, freedom or justice must be. It is absolutely heartbreaking. The old are still alive and the young will never forget. And we won't forget here in Scotland either. There are many local organisations campaigning for justice for Palestine, like the Ayrshire Palestine Forum, who this month marched with the Trades Councils on May to raise awareness and hold regular stalls and events. Find your local group and support them. There are national demonstrations taking place this weekend. Those in the west of Scotland might like to join me on the 19th of May in Glasgow. And if you can't join a group, if you can't join a demo, you can take action as an individual. Boycott, divestment and sanctions are a legitimate, peaceful action to take. It has worked before against apartheid and it can work again. Boycott Israeli goods, encourage divestment in Israeli companies and contact your MPs and the UK government and urge sanctions against this racist apartheid state. We have to build a wave of support for Palestine that can't be ignored. Finally, I just encourage everyone who cares about peace and justice to take action and do all that they can.
Thank you.